If there is one thing we all know, it's that there are many ways to invest our money, regardless of your salary, short and long-term goals, and even tastes. Many people are inclined to save their money in investment accounts for their insurance company. Others prefer to inject that capital into banks, taking advantage of the power of compound interest, and a percentage of the population is more inclined to buy digital assets, such as cryptocurrencies. There are several ways to grow our money while doing other things, and it's only up to people's taste to choose correctly. However, what happens when you're interested in an investment method and it turns out to be as good as they say it is? Is it necessary to lose some capital to add more assets to your portfolio? Isn't there another way to avoid wasting that money and put it in a place where it's generated? The problem with many new investors is that, in their eagerness to make profits quickly and without much effort, they decide to put their capital into things or companies that promise incredible percentages. We are talking about 25% or more, and given that these people do not have much knowledge on the subject or are just learning, they are dazzled by the figures and the success stories. Regardless of a maximum in the investment world, all investment is a risk. We must be prepared for anything, and that is why today we are going to talk about Bill Gates' opinion on cryptocurrencies and NFTs. Why do you think they are useless? Subscribe to the channel to enjoy this and more content about finance. And now that we have your attention, what do you think if we get started? As we know, Bill Gates is usually one of those billionaires who doesn't like to comment on certain things. Whether he feels he's not qualified to give his opinion on a certain topic, or why he shouldn't comment without trying what they're asking. He died when he was questioned about the competition against Microsoft when he was still in the boss's chair, and a similar situation came up when journalists tried to get his opinion on certain software and devices, which he had only heard of, but had never had one in his possession, such as Apple's phones. Therefore, when the first reports about cryptocurrencies started to occur, the man decided not to give his opinion on the subject, and on the other hand, asked the general population to investigate the whole issue before trusting all their capital in such digital assets. Were his warnings correct? Some experts would have said a few years ago, but with the issue of the pandemic, war, and the food crisis, many things are changing in the current world scene, and one of those facts is the value of cryptocurrencies. There is no denying it. The last few weeks have seen a collapse in most of the assets belonging to that field. Regardless of their origin, value, or whether they have a physical asset backing them, each and every one of these digital currencies has shown extreme variation in attention. This, at worst, has led their buyers, investors, and creators to face massive capital losses. Therefore, this Wednesday, during the conference organized by TechCrunch, some interviewers and stakeholders expressed their concern to Bill Gates, while asking him what he thought about cryptocurrencies and their resounding fall in recent weeks. What the man stated surprised more than one, as it had been a long time since the Microsoft creator was not so sharp with his opinions. He said that both NFTs and cryptocurrencies are based on a theory known as a greater fool, in which the sole objective pursued is to find a person shorter than one, who organizes it, buys overinflated stocks or shares. When the clueless are, in turn, must convince him to pay a much higher price during the transaction. The rest counts for itself. But why Gates' comments on cryptocurrencies? Why doesn't he trust them? The answer to that question is a resounding one. Gates, being a person who prefers traditional investments and acquisitions, does not trust companies that lack tangible assets, in parallel to the sectors where good investments and established companies can be made, the places where the products and services that can be afforded come from. That is why, during the talk at this event, he made it very clear that he is not in favor of cryptocurrencies, nor NFTs. Furthermore, he clarified that he has never been interested in both sectors, and that he has never spent his money on a crypto or digital image. He prefers to leave his money in the hands of more capable people, rather than give it to places where the profits are not showing. As with cryptocurrencies, Bill was also asked about NFTs, as many of those present wanted to know his opinion on the subject. Although the two issues are closely related, there are certain factors they don't share. By the same token, some people seem to expect his comments to make these images popular. They were different. The result? An equally strong critique that occurred with digital currencies. In the course of the conference, Bill was asked about the excessively high prices of some NFTs, and he made the same statement as with the Greater Fool theory. He even joked about the Boring Ape Yacht Club, that organization based on monkeys disguised as humans. This collection has been sold for hundreds of thousands of euros, and some of its owners are extremely well-known personalities around the world. Of course, that didn't stop him from saying, quote, "Of course, digital monkey images will greatly improve the world." It was ironic. Although it seems that some of the audience shared his opinion, others were a little more opposed to his words. The question in this whole affair is, are you right or wrong? As far as we know, this is not the first time Gates has lashed out against cryptocurrencies and digital images that have become currency. A year ago, the tycoon and entrepreneur issued a general warning that the mayor part of the population chose to ignore, as he took out an uncomfortable temple on Bitcoin, and the fact that many people were injecting exaggerated amounts into the currency. Quote, "I think people who get into these hobbies, they still have a lot of money to waste." Such strong criticisms earned many hateful responses and rejection by buyers or investors. However, the position Bitcoin is in today, we can say that the billionaire was right. Absolutely right. If the behavior that the currency had at the beginning of the year is analyzed to what is happening with it in recent dates, we can notice a fall, that the foam was dispersed, and for the few are prepared. In December 2021, Bitcoin already reached $65,000. Today, its price barely whips to $20,000. Yes, this is a catastrophe that could have been avoided, had people listened to certain experts and investment insiders. For now, the outlook for both assets is uncertain, and it is not yet known if that will change. That is why we recommend that you research the sector in which the amounts you will invest in care for, before you end up like the characters who bet all their money on Bitcoin. And here comes the video of this occasion. As we know, Bill Gates can get a bit difficult with his words, and even some people don't like to talk without having tried the products or actions he criticizes. However, if we are to assume anything, he has risen to the top and stayed there for a long time. He knows what he's talking about, and that is why, before we choose a place to invest our money, we should stop a bit and analyze our outlook. Are we really interested in acquiring cryptocurrencies as a form of investment? Have we done enough research to know what to invest in? Can we handle a collapse in the price of NFTs? All that and more we need to ask ourselves before putting our money in. Leave your comments on the topic, and don't forget to comment suggestions for new videos. Thank you very much for sticking around this far. Subscribe, and don't stop supporting us with them. See you next time.